chat recognizes. Ugh.
Are you going to be monitoring that, or?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch it.
Then I won't sacrifice bandwidth for it.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. You should definitely not do that. Okay, here.
I don't even know what that means.
I've got broke bitch internet.
Broke bitch internet.
Oh.
Broke bitch internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll just go right into the topic today. Let me bring up my notes. From an emotional challenges perspective. So we're going to be talking today about dating anxiety as it relates to queer relationships, because dating anxiety is a very stressful activity. Well, Lisa, then you shouldn't worry because we're going to teach you what not to do. So, I mean, yeah, when you're dating in queer spaces, there's just a huge amount of insecurity that comes from dating in those spaces. And so, like the first thing that you go through, I think one of the first things you go through is safety screening paralysis. And that's the before every date, your nervous system fires off. Is the person safe? Will they respect my pronouns? Could they turn violent? You have to research the person before you can adequately go out with somebody. And so the story I have for this is the the day I went to Johnny's Hideaway. Went out to Johnny's Hideaway. It was a known trans-friendly location. And there was a guy there, and he ended up buying me a handful of drinks, and those were nice. And then, got to talking, and then can we go outside, go out to my car? And I'm okay. And we got out there, and then I sat in his car in a really nice looking dress in heels, and they'd done my makeup right, and I had a wig on, and he was like, okay, now you're going to give me a blowjob. And I was like, for what? Well, I just bought you 3 Manhattans. That's at least worth a blowjob. And so, that means that after that, I was like, if I go out with anybody, I am going to scream more affluently. I mean, that was a random encounter. The guy walked up and sat next to me at the bar. They started buying my drink, but cool. So, anyway, Sarah, dating nightmare story.
You're going to laugh at me, but I don't have any of those because I've only dated one person in my entire life.
Yeah, but you didn't have any dating nightmares with that person?
Aside from the fact that when we first got together, he wasn't working and that I was paying for everything.
Wow, that should have told you something.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Well, that's not everything, right? Brandon?
Oh, I have all kinds of hang-ups when it comes to dating. But as far as like safety goes, as like you were talking about, Yeah, I mean, that's always kind of a concern in this rural area, you know. Um, a lot of times that's kind of where violent things happen. I mean, not always, I guess, but um, there was one guy. Well, I don't know if I can call this dating, but I'm gonna lump the one night stands in with the dating.
Yeah, that's completely acceptable.
Being on the dating apps like Grinder. Um, I talked with this guy who was he was straight, curious, down low, whatever you want to call that. But he wasn't out to any of his friends or people he knew. They didn't know that he was interested in same sex encounter, and he lived in an apartment and had roommates. So he he only wanted me to come over after they went to bed, and he could sneak me in. And I did think briefly, like, well, what if this is not what it seems? What if his roommates, what if I get there and they're all awake, they're all waiting for me or whatever, and either gonna, beat me up or something, or like a gang rape kind of situation or something like that. You always have those kinds of concerns when you're meeting somebody online for the first time, if you don't meet like in a public place or something like that. But part of the what went through my head also was, when you put your pictures up on the profiles or whatever, you send your picture, you always send the best ones, and some of my hangups are like, oh, what if I get there and I don't look as good as I did in the picture or whatever, or whatever the scenario is. Because with this one guy, he was very good looking to me. He had a nice body, like he fit my what do you call it, profile, or my I don't know, there's a word for it. I'm not thinking of the word right now, but he was my kind of ideal match, my ideal person that I would want to have sex with. And part of it is I look at him and I think, well, he's not going to want me. I can't match up. I don't match up with him. He's much better looking than I am. He's better in better shape, et cetera, et cetera. And when I get there, he's going to look at me and be like, oh, no, on second thought, no thanks, or whatever. So a lot of times that prevents me from meeting people, because my own insecurities, my own self-doubt and whatnot. So that anxiety is always there when I'm thinking of meeting anybody. And it often stops me from going through with meeting anybody.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I think that happens to all of us. There's that whole fetishization detector overload,
Yeah.
Especially when they tell you, like, I've always wanted to date a gay guy, or I've always wanted to date a trans person, or I love androgynous people. Are they into you, or are they just into your identity?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that makes you want to run the fuck away. You know, you ask the question, like the dude that I brought to my apartment the one time. I really should have, you know, like asked this question before he ended up in my apartment. You know, what attracted you to my profile specifically? And what you watch for in that is like concrete answers. Your humor in that story about your cat or something versus vague identity fixation. You know, one of my bi friends, his perpetual question is like, what's your longest relationship been? And then gauges what that answer is versus, you know, what it's going to be. You know, you get a guy that's like, well, I've had a relationship for a couple of months. Okay, this is going to be a fucking go. This is going to be a fucking go situation. Which that's not necessarily wrong, mind you, but I mean, if you're looking for a lasting relationship versus just, you know, getting the shit banged out of you, then, you know, yeah, these are things, these are questions you have to ask.
Yeah, with this guy that I was talking about, I mean, I had no delusions that we would end up in a relationship, you know.
Right. It was all just about the sex.
Right.
You know, which that brings a whole nother question is when you go out with somebody, when does which end of the orientation spectrum, you know, what happens when I love this. One of my friends who used to live in the complex next to me, he's like, I went out with a guy the other night. And it was really nice. And then we got towards the end of the evening and we were going to go home. And I asked him if he was a top or a bottom. And he said, oh, I'm a power bottom. And that's when Eric said, darn, I am too. This sucks. You know, but then I know this other couple who they're both bottoms. They've been they've been domestic partners for like 16, 17 years. They've been married since 2015. And I asked him, Richie, he says, I asked Richie, I'm like, how do you do it? Oh, we just have a crew of guys come over, you know, every so often. They come over to the apartment and we just run a train. And, you know, then we're both happy for, you know, a couple of weeks or whatever. I'm like, a couple of fucking weeks. Sarah, are we embarrassing you?
No, I'm amused at the fact that the first place I ever heard the term power bottom was at work, coming from my boss.
Oh.
What context was that? I have to ask now.
I don't remember.
Was your boss a power bottom?
He claims that he is.
Claims he is.
I don't know. I've never asked his wife.
Okay. That says a lot, actually, I think. I mean, well, that's the thing, though. I like for a heterosexual person, that could still be the case. You know,
he's also the most vanilla person I've ever met. Like, we joke that vanilla ice cream's too spicy for Ryan.
So he's like going to the bedroom, turn the lights off, missionary.
Probably.
3 minutes and then it's over situation.
Probably.
A heterosexual relationship seems so boring to me that I just don't understand. I don't understand the grasp of. So then let's ask the question. Queer dating lacks the heteronormative script. Should you kiss on date one? Brandon, do you kiss on date one?
It depends on the type of date.
Like if you're like
Like,
serious, not like if you're on a one night stand, you're making out in the car. Before,
well, right,
yeah, before you,
right.
yeah.
No, but I mean, like, if we meet in a coffee shop in the middle of the day, and it's just like a first time meeting kind of thing, it's just a casual thing, then probably not.
Yeah, right.
But if it's like dinner and a movie, and well, maybe during the movie or after you take the person home or whatever, then I would be okay with it. But it's not like I don't have like a standard rule, like I won't do it on the first, I won't kiss on the first date, or whatever. I think it's just kind of depends on the person, depends on the situation, and
I don't know. Maybe that's my womanness coming out, but I never kiss on the first date. Now, I won't say that the first time I went on a date with asshole over here.
Asshole.
That I didn't make out with her the minute we got back to the hotel room. And may have taken the cutest picture of her I've ever taken. But I was under threat of physical harm if I did not go out on a date with her that night. So, that was.
Yeah, but you two knew each other beforehand.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if that qualifies as a first date, like just getting to know the person.
Well, because you're talking about the lesbian Olympic thing.
Right.
Where Aubrey and I danced around each other, a whole bunch before. And it sucked too, because like during that time I was like, I'd be with her or whatever, or she and the kids would come over and they'd leave, and I'd grab my phone and be like, she was here. It was amazing. Ho, ho, ho. And all my friends got sick of hearing it. All my friends got fuckwad tired of hearing it, until a handful of my friends actually tried to do something about it, which ultimately culminated in my friend Cammie, Cece, calling calling Aubrey up and saying, if you don't take her out on a date tonight, when you get back, this is it. I'm tired of this shit. And then Cece calls me at work, when you get back to the hotel, you better put on your prettiest dress and you better go the fuck out, or which for me, I don't know. Dating as a trans woman, I've dealt with internalized transphobia. It's like, this is wrong in my head, even though I'm happy. It gets stomach cramps. And then I have to tell myself that's my previous family members talking. That's my upbringing talking, and I just need to ignore that. Brandon, have you ever experienced that?
Internalized?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started, when I first started exploring my sexuality online and looking at going out with guys or one night stands or whatever, hooking up with guys, I was looking specifically for guys that were not looking for long-term relationships, that they just wanted, that they were curious, whatever, or down low, or they just wanted to have a one-night stand or whatever, because I thought I didn't see myself being in a long-term relationship with a guy. I thought there's no way that could work. And at the time, I guess there was some internalized homophobia, because I didn't, at that time, I didn't think it was right if we were to get married. I couldn't see that working. And well, at the time, it wasn't even legal anyway. But I just didn't see it happening. And I don't think I wanted to at the time either. But I don't know if that was more my upbringing and telling me you shouldn't do this, you can't do this. So I just basically turned off that possibility. Like, that's not even going to be a consideration. But yeah, for a long while, I didn't even consider any long-term relationships.
You didn't?
No, for years into my adulthood, after high school and when I was in college is when I first started kind of exploring more. But for a long time, I didn't even consider actually dating a guy or being in a long-term relationship with a guy.
Because it was just about the moment.
Yeah, at that time, it's like I could explore what I was attracted to, who I was attracted to. I could explore those experiences and not have to be in a long-term relationship where it would be exposed, other people would see it, and we would fall in love and that kind of thing. I was eliminating that possibility.
Why were you eliminating that possibility?
I mean, partly it was just the way I was raised. I struggled with whether this was right or not. Am I sin? This is a sin. I can't live with a guy. I can't get married to a guy. That's not right. That's a sin. Those kinds of things. And so it took me a long time to kind of break that indoctrination, I guess, to come up with my own belief system.
Yeah, I think you have to reconcile that.
Yeah.
I felt the same way, even before being a trans person. So now Tavern brings up, I get nervous dating a guy because I'm bisexual. The last relationship I was in with a male, a lot of sabotage comes up because I convinced myself that he was going to end up hating me or thinking I was just someone experimenting, or if I was actually into men. I could get real paranoid about things like that when I'm dating guys. That's why I write Marcus the way I do. I write Marcus in the Queer Space Stories as this insecure person because of that very thing. Bisexuality means it's one thing or another, right? Can't be both. It's bullshit if it's both. It's just bullshit if it's both. But that's not actually the case. It could be both. There are many reasons to believe why it could be. And so, that makes it just a tavern. That makes it just as valid. I think from a larger focus, the constant having to come out. That's the thing that sort of, the disclosure moment. That's the thing I have a problem with. Sarah, I want your opinion about this. So, the disclosure moment. When do you tell somebody that you're trans? When do you tell somebody that you're a bottom? When do you tell somebody that you're not monogamous? When do you tell somebody that you're disabled or you have special needs? Or when does that moment happen?
I feel like that's going to be a case by case situation.
Why?
Depending on how you gauge their possible reception to it, the safety of having that conversation, the context of which you know the person.
So, I have a good friend who, his big issue was his status, his positive or negative status. And so he had to gauge when to reveal that detail. Because half the time you reveal that detail and then people are like, oh, okay, we're not dating anymore. It's over, goodbye, and they leave. Or, it turns into one of those bug chasing people who are like, oh my God, we have to go to your house right now and you have to fuck my brains out. And, he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to have a meaningful relationship. From my perspective, I don't necessarily have to reveal that I'm trans because it's pretty obvious. But there are girls that I know that they never do. They just date people who are in the queer pool. I know girls who refuse to date straight guys. Because straight guys can't handle it. Or if they can, they fetishize it, which makes it even worse. And more, I don't know, disgusting. Because then it turns into your sexuality or your gender. You're not a person. And when the ghosting thing happens, that feeds that insecurity. You go on 2 or 3 really good dates with somebody and they ghost you. Have you been on a meaningful date with somebody, Brandon, then got ghosted? I'm sure you have.
Not on an actual date. The ghosting that I've experienced has happened online before we meet.
Oh, you start talking, you build up a connection, and then
Yeah. Well, like one guy not too long ago, I was talking back and forth. We were having a great conversation. He was asking questions. I was being kind of sarcastic, funny, and he'd laugh and respond and blah blah blah. And eventually he said, well, you want to exchange numbers? And I was getting kind of tired of texting back and forth. I was like, let's just skip this and actually just meet. you know, and I said, how about we just meet somewhere in public? Do you like coffee? And he never responded, never heard from him again. So to me, that means either it was a fake profile, like his pictures and things weren't really him, and that's why he didn't want to meet.
Right.
Or I guess he could have been a bot, but it was a pretty good bot. I mean, they responded to all my question, responded to the conversation well and everything like that. But for whatever it was, I think it was fake in some respect.
Well, like your church experience story, that
Oh,
that was clearly not great.
well, I mean, that one at least, I mean, it was real. He left out a few details, but I mean, I recognized him from his picture and everything, and there were just more details than he left out the fact that there were other people living there, and that, I don't know.
It was real. It was real sketchy.
Yeah, it was real. It was real, and I got out of there real fast.
Well, but is that the weirdest one?
It's close. Yeah, that one, and I there are two that are they're really vying for first place. I'm not sure which one would get it, but the other one.
I'll tell you my weirdest one if you tell me your one that's not the church story.
Okay, well, so one of the early ones, early in my college life, I was going online and meeting guys that had download profiles, that kind of thing. So this guy didn't have a picture, and I didn't have one either. We didn't exchange pictures. We described one another, described ourselves to one another, And I don't care how good of a writer you are, you're not going to describe yourself in a way that accurately portrays what you look like, And usually it's just like, oh, I'm this tall, I've got brown hair, blue eyes, yada, 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 And so just by this basic description, you kind of build this person in your mind, and if you're if you're expecting to go and meet someone and have sex, I think you automatically would kind of create someone that you're attracted to. You see them as attractive in your mind, so you kind of build this person. So we go and we meet in a public place, and he is not what I imagined him to be. But like, we met in this a parking lot of a grocery store, and as soon as I see him, I'm like, oh, that's not what I signed up for. But I had already gone to meet him, drove there and everything, and so we were going to go back to his house. Like, I mean, I could go back to his house at least and just hang out, there's no harm there. So I go to the house. It's kind of older house, dark inside, and You go up the stairs, and at the first landing, there's this door open where this older guy is sitting there watching TV. Don't know who he was, but we go up the stairs, I guess, to this guy's room. Maybe he was his dad or his landlord or something. I don't know, but we go up to his room on the next floor, and it's he was not a housekeeper. There was just stuff everywhere, clothes and stuff all over the place,
Ugh.
and I think there was a chair. Maybe he had to move stuff to sit on the chair. There was only one place to sit, except there was his bed, but I wasn't going to sit on his bed. But he sat on his bed, and I was like, I'll sit over here. And he turned on the TV. Maybe the TV was already on. It was on Wheel of Fortune, of all things. But and so we just kind of sat and watched TV, and he was, as we were sitting there kind of chatting, a mouse ran across the floor, and he
Sarah.
he didn't flinch. It was like,
This is completely normal.
Yeah, I guess that's okay. I mean, I guess he's supposed to be here. Apparently, I guess he lives here. So I was like, and I didn't say anything because he didn't say anything or move or anything. I was like, okay. Well, it's getting kind of late. Maybe I should, maybe head out of here, And then he offers to give me a blowjob. And he said I didn't have to do anything in return. I was like, oh, no, that's okay. And so I went back down the stairs past the guy, whoever the guy was, in his room, and back down through the house. It was kind of, in retrospect, looking at it, it was kind of like Silence of the Lambs, that Buffalo Bill's house, the kind of creepy, dark house that was. Kind of reminded me of that, except like multiple levels. But I'm glad we didn't. At least his room wasn't in the basement, and I was trapped down there or something. At least it was on the upper floor. I thought I could at least maybe jump out the window. I'd probably survive a 2-story fall. I may not survive being trapped in the basement, being put down a well, and it puts the lotion on its skin kind of situation. But, so I left, and he emailed me after that, and we had chatted, whatever it was, we email or chat through the site or whatever. But he asked what went on, or what the deal was, why I decided to leave or whatever. Well, I didn't bring up a mouse, but I said, well, you weren't exactly what I was expecting. And he said, well, you weren't either. I was like, well, touche. But that was fine, because we weren't gonna meet again. So that was the end of that one. So I don't know if that's better or worse than the church. I think they're fair.
Seems kind of close.
I
know, that's why
I learned about 5 gay euphemisms in one day, one night, and was shocked completely by it. And so talked to the guy on the app. I was on Hinge, I think. But anyway, so met up with him. Turns out he was a muscle Mary. Do you know what a muscle Mary is? A muscle Mary is a hugely muscular, effeminate gay man.
Okay, that's kind of what I was picturing as soon as you said that. But
yeah, I would also probably call him a pocket gay because he was like 5'4", which that's what pocket gay means. But anyway, so we met. I got a kiss on the cheek, and he was nice and shit. So we're like, we want to go back to your place, and so I did not know what this phrase meant at the time. He said, well, we could go back to we can party and play. And I did not understand that euphemism at all. Brandon, I'm pretty sure you know what that euphemism means, right?
what was it? Say that one more time.
Party and P&P.
Well, like getting high and
party and play is illicit
sex?
drug use so that's chem play or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And then we get back to my apartment. Look, I'm clean. I don't do any drugs, short of green consumption. I mean, I'm or whatever. And so if you have any of that, we're not doing that. And so we got back to my apartment, and then I found out he was 2'1". He was a puppy. So in his little carry bag, he had his puppy mask, and he put it on his face. And then 2, he footsie top. So he had a foot fetish, but he wanted his toes played with, sucked on, and all this. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh no, I'm not done yet. I'm not even close to done yet. And so I was like, no, I'm sorry. And he was like, well, you're trans and you're not into it. And he used this term, man smells. And I said, no, definitely not. Definitely not. And on top of this, he was definitely a bear. So a muscle bear, but still very much a bear. And so I was like, okay, no, I'm not into that. And so he's like, well, I'm a bottom. And I said, well, then we're not going to have a whole lot of fun. And he said, oh, we can totally still have fun because I'm into fisting. And I went, no. I'm just not going to do that today. I'm just not going to do that. On top of the fact that I even told him, I was like, I don't have any J-Lube in the house. And so with no J-Lube, I'm definitely not engaging in that activity. And he was like, oh, but I have some. Well, of course you do.
I was going to say, you probably had that in his bag too.
Yeah. So yeah, found out about the puppy thing, found out about what a muscle Mary was, found out what party and play. Turns out party and play meant he had meth paraphernalia on him, which I did not allow to come out of the container that it was in anywhere near my house. I will never understand why people use that drug. I'll never get it. And so, yeah, and I'm pretty sure, by the way, on top of all of that, that he probably had lied about his HIV status. So he was probably HIV positive. And yeah, that would have been a major bullet to have dodged. I never had sex with a guy. I never did any of the things that he wanted to do. And he left. And get this, he was not shameless enough to not walk out of my house with his puppy mask on. So I guess he thought me experiencing him as a puppy was going to be a shocking experience. But then after it wasn't, then he just didn't care when he left. So, yeah, that's kind of that's my weird, fucked up, kinky, holy shit, how the fuck did I get here story. The only one that rivals that is the guy I went out with who was a construction worker, and I went home with him one night, and I ended up with 2 fishers because this person did not believe that one orifice behaves just like the female orifice. And so that was a very nightmarish dating experience. Dating nightmares. Versus this girl over here, I have never had any of those nightmares ever happened, and I've been with her for 2 years now. So I think she looks at me funny if I mention something kinky. She's not talking. Oh, I got the finger for that. You could give me the finger the right way, Kira. No, that's definitely not the right way. No, that means you have to come over here. Oh. See, Sarah, this is what you have to look forward to. So then Sarah's new in her dating experience. So let's ask Sarah. Sarah, do you have a type?
Because I know you have a type.
Yeah.
I can't honestly say. I'm maybe, but
okay. What is it? Because I'm pretty sure I picked out Brandon's type. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I picked out Brandon's type.
I mean, I don't even know that I've given a whole lot of thought to like type. I'm still trying to figure out what I want.
What do you think you want?
Simply emotional connection.
You just want to be emotionally connected to somebody.
Yeah.
Were you getting that in your previous relationship?
Very minimally.
That's very sad.
Like it was he viewed physical sexual connection as the emotional connection that I wanted. And yeah, that's not that's not a good substitute.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Having an emotional connection, being a demisexual, is not necessarily a bad thing. It just narrows the dating pool. Because we live in a society where people want instantaneous. Things are instantaneous.
I think that the emotional connection is more stimulating than a physical connection.
Do you have anybody that you share that emotional connection with?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
You don't know yet. Jury's still out.
Yeah.
All right, so here, let's laugh at Wendy. So Brandon, dad bod jock.
Is that like asking if that's
Yes, is that your typification attraction?
no?
God damn it! God damn it!
Not so much the dad bod. Jock part, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually like more toned or even skinny, like thin guys. I don't mind like skinny, but I would prefer some muscle, but definitely not like WWE wrestlers, The Rock or what's his name, John Cena.
Right.
I don't like the big bulky muscle types, muscles.
Muscles. But you want to do with a washboard stomach.
I mean, I do like that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Just gonna ask, treasure trail or no treasure trail?
I don't have a preference on that.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of like. I guess. I would say yes, more so.
Right.
I mean, I don't like a lot of body hair.
Right.
Some is okay. Sometimes I don't have a huge preference as far as that goes. I don't not really hairy though. I don't like a lot of hair, but some, and especially down there, I don't want it completely shaved because that's like that's kind of weird to me. I don't know. It's just a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's.
I don't know. It's just some people like it. I mean, and they like the smoothness, and I get that, but I don't know. To me, it's just a little bit weird. I like something.
So then, older or younger?
Usually younger than me. Yeah, but not like. I mean, they'd have to be. I don't know. In some ways, I don't like to put a number because I don't think it should really matter, but it sometimes kind of does.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like initially, I had in my head, I'm like, Brandon is a total Goldilocks, but then I decided that was probably not the case. I'm not calling you out by saying that either. You know what a Goldilocks is, right?
I mean, Goldilocks goes for the bears, I guess.
That is a smooth-bodied guy who is attracted to the bear type.
Oh yeah, no, not so much.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So, um, I then sort of had it in my head that you were a cloner. You know what a cloner is? So the clones are that refers to the Chelsea look from the 70s and 80s, mustache, kind of well built, masculine, dye and flannel and jeans or even leather.
Oh, okay.
So, but then like there's what they call prop forward, the rugby player. So like a rugby built but thick, solid build with muscle and mass, but not overly defined, and more powerful than cut.
I would be more like the soccer player or swimmer, as far
Okay,
as
all right. So swimmer's build.
yeah.
Yeah, broad shoulders but narrow hips. Okay, I mean, I can track with that. I can track with that. That just means that I totally had your typification wrong, and I'm not a good person.
No, no. I mean, I don't think I'm real picky. I mean, because they're like, as far like some physical characters, redhead, blonde, brunette, eye color, height. I'm not really picky about any of that. Most of the guys I've been with have been at least a little bit shorter than me, actually. But I'm not, that's not something I definitely go for. That it doesn't really matter as far as that goes.
I see from my perspective, my type's pretty easy to figure out. If you've seen my partner, I tend to prefer somebody who is not as tall as I am, who is wider than I am, from a body mass perspective. But the thing that's most important is what's in the noodle. I have to have a noodle, before I can even approach them. And so, that's where, demisexuality kicks in. And then I can be immediately attracted to the person, and then that makes it okay, and so forth and so forth. But after that, I mean, it's really just what they have upstairs. I'm more interested in what is upstairs than what's downstairs.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if I were to meet a guy that was like just completely, gorgeous, perfect body and all that kind of thing, but was as dumb as a box of rocks, that wouldn't work very well. I would want somebody that has some intelligence that I can have conversations with.
Yeah,
and we
right.
can go to cultural kind of thing, go to art shows and you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So
Believe me, I've dealt with the dumb as a box of rocks. It's not great.
How dumb as a box of rocks were they?
Well, I mean, you had equated him to Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, so.
I wish I'd have done a little bit more of my life than standing in front of restaurants selling weed and shit. I can't believe you watched that movie and you called it trash.
I didn't call it trash. I said it was dumb.
Well, when you get to Kiki Kelly and the Sexy Stud, you're as stupid as it gets. Have you ever seen the movie, Brandon?
I don't think I have.
Clerks 2? Yeah, I would definitely.
I didn't watch Clerks 2. I watched Clerks 1.
Oh, you watched Clerks 1? No, you have to watch Clerks 2.
Well, that's not what you told me to do. You told me to watch 1 and 2, and I only watch one movie a week.
Okay. Well, then you should definitely watch Clerks 2. Clerks 2 is the masterpiece. Do not watch Clerks 3.
This week we're watching Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh. Brandon, are you going to assault me with a random fruiting?
With my what?
With a random fruiting? Drive-by
fruiting.
Drive-by fruiting. I'm sorry. I know he was married and had kids, but Robin Williams had to have been bi as fuck. Really, it just had to be. I know it's probably not a popular opinion to say that, but
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time I've heard that.
no. All right, well, we're right at the hour. We want to try to sneak one in tomorrow. Let me look at my calendar. I can do tomorrow at 1:30 if we do it again.
I know Onyx said that she would be available. I don't know if Miranda's available, so if Miranda is in tomorrow, I will just stay at work.
Well, we'll get that worked out before tomorrow. So don't sweat the small stuff.
No, I got plenty of big stuff to sweat.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, Sarah, Brandon, closing moment.
If you let anxiety completely take over, you'll never go out with anybody. You'll never find the person you're looking for. Sometimes I just have to go for it. Just get over it and go meet somebody and go try it,
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You're never going to know unless you try it and do it. Unless you try it and do it. All right. Well, everybody that came, thank you for participating in Trauma Live, especially Tavern, who is making regular comments. I will tell everybody, bookmark when I post the video, I'll bookmark our link drop of the YouTube channel. If you want to chat in the live session while the live session is going on, just use YouTube. Or if you're Twitch savvy, you can do that too. But either way, if you want the chat to show up in the live session, then you have to make those comments on YouTube.
I've been chatting with Nikki in the Substack chat too.
I am eagerly waiting for Substack API keys to transition the Substack chat into the Restream interface. That hasn't happened yet, but maybe it will eventually, regardless. Thank you both. And to the audience, we'll be back tomorrow, 1:30. Same bad time, same bad channel.
No.
Yeah, Batman. And then good day and good luck. I may do a live tonight at 7:45. We'll see. I'm still jet lagged as fuck from being in LA. But today's queer story is a retelling of the weekend events, so you should definitely read that. Yeah. With a real picture of me in a very formal dress that I looked horribly ugly in. So you were all warned. All right. Well, Brandon, Sarah, thank you both.
Thank you.
See you later.
De nada.